Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Diatonic Dissection, where we crack open music to see what makes it tick. In this video, we'll be looking at the music for Hedgehog. This is the weird music that accompanies you through a single corridor at the end of the game before you go and fight two bosses in a row with no rings. Just to get this out of the way, at the top of the video, there is a very weird part that I had to program as I couldn't get it learned in time for the video. It'll make sense when you see it. If you want the sheet music for this video as well as all my previous ones for free, then head on over to the Diatonic Dissection Patreon, patreon.com/Diatonic Dissection. There is a link down below to save you trying to spell it out. Let's get into it. The tempo is 170 BPM and the key is non-existent, but for the sake of the argument, let's say A major based on the main melody. For the first time in this soundtrack, we have a new time signature. For the non-musicians among you, this track is in 3/4 time, so it has 3 beats per bar rather than the usual 4 that you hear across most music. There aren't really any chords in Hedgehog, so there won't be any chord sections in this video. Section A serves as a kind of intro, so the parts are either doing very little or the only thing that they will be doing throughout the entire track. What I have labelled as the main melody isn't doing much in Section A, just some held notes sliding around. The extra melody part is just playing a group of 3 notes, those notes being D sharp, C sharp and A. It's a weird sort of arpeggio, I don't know. The bass part for Section A is the same part that it will be doing for the entire track. That being said, it isn't simple. It involves a lot of jumping around the strings, with the biggest jump being a 10th and the smallest being a 6th, so make sure your hands are warmed up so you don't injure them like I do on the regular. In Section A, the drums are playing along with the bass part. In a slight change to the usual parts, most of these phrases begin with the snare on the downbeat. Okay, right, now we've arrived at the difficult part of this track, and my new source of shame to go with the rest in the cupboard. The bizarre harpsichord sounding part in the background. This part does not repeat and follows pretty much no pattern at all, with lots of accidentals and naturals. As a result, I was unable to get this learned in time, so I've had to program it all, so the videos for this section will just be the screen capture of Serum playing it for me. On screen are of the MIDI readout from Reaper, the DAW I use, and so you can see how mad this part actually is. So, with that admin and admission, who knows, out of the way, here is the weird part for Section A. Section B sees an actual melody appear. The rhythm of it helps solidify the waltz-like feel of this track. For the non-music nerds, a waltz is a type of music that is very well defined in its 3 feel. One of the most famous waltzes being the Blue Danube, composed by Johann Strauss II. Like many of these things, you may not know it by name, but you will know it by sound. The melody is pretty simple rhythmically, so not much else to say. The extra melody part is quite simple, and there isn't really much to say about it apart from that there are a few chromatic notes to be aware of. nothing to say about the weird part, so here it is. The bass for section B is doing what it will be doing throughout the entire track. Here it is. The drums are back to normal with a kick on the downbeat. There is very little repetition in this part, so you'll need to pay attention. Given the waltz feel of the track, I wanted to adapt section B into a true Viennese waltz, but for some reason it came out more like music for Final Fantasy. I'm not complaining. Section C is very similar to Section B, with the only real difference being that the main melody now has a harmony part. The extra melody and bass parts are doing the same thing that they were doing in Section B. The drums are doing something similar to Section B, but there are more non-repeated bars. Weird part. You know, I got nothing to add. Let's just stare into the void. I realised while making the section cards that the weird part sounds like an absolute nightmare when it's slowed down. So let's bring Sonic.exe into it and go for some real nightmare fuel. For section D, the main melody and its harmony are just playing some descending notes to see the track out. It's played in the highest octave as the mid-range is taken up by the extra melody and weird parts. The extra melody is playing something new. After you've done this new part, you have a variation on the chromatic part from the earlier sections. Weird part, more atonal madness, nothing to add. Bass, doing the same thing again. Much like the extra melody part, the drums start out with the same stuff from previous sections, but the ending is a return to the intro. That's it. 50-ish seconds of music stretched beyond recognition through unnecessary music analysis. If you want the sheet music for this video as well as all my other videos for free, then head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Diatonic Dissection. There is a link down below to save you trying to spell it out. Thank you very much for watching if you're still here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!